Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a True King Zing deck profile. Now this deck is really fun. It's a really synchro heavy deck where you can just make all sorts of plays and all sorts of boards while also making True King of all calamities to negate all sorts of effects on your opponent's side of the field and negate all particular attributes of a monster, which is really awesome because a lot of decks play one attribute card, whereas this particular deck does not. So, without further ado, guys, let's get straight into this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell down there so you can become part of the notification squad, and let's get straight on into this. So, first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of our Zing Suwani, Fire of the Zing. Basically, you use this deck to cut it short. You use this deck with Draconic Diagram to pop your Zing monsters to get particular special summons, to get the particular Zing you want on the field, to get your synchro monsters particular buffs. So, with that being said, Suwani's effect is that when this card you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Zing monster from your deck in defense position, except another copy itself. All the Zings share that ability that once they're popped, they can special summon a different one so they all float, which is really nuts to me that they all float, but they also give synchro monsters extra added effects when they are synchro summoned. So Yazi's effect, or not Yazi's, but Suwani's effect, that when he synchro summons a monster, he uses synchro material, that monster gains 500 additional attack and defense. Then we play Beyond, which is Earth of the Zing. It special summons a Zing monster in defense position as well, and then when it is once returned during your opponent's main phase or battle phase, you can immediately after this card resolves, synchro summon a synchro monster. A lot of the Zings share that ability as well, and then after this card resolves, a synchro monster that is used to synchro summon cannot be destroyed by battle, so it adds that effect that it can't be destroyed by battle, which is really cool. Then I play 2 copies of the Water of the Zing. I only play 2 copies of it because I wanted to play a little bit more control with like Call by the Graves and stuff like that. But what it does is that if it's used for a synchro material, it lets you make your synchro monster unaffected by trap cards, which I think is really cool. But it also floats, but it special summons the monster in attack position. Then we play 2 copies of Palua, which I just played 2 copies of Palua just to kind of like get my particular plays off. You could play it at 1 and play 3 Beyond if you want to, but I thought that this was a better ratio because this one prevents them from being affected by spell cards. So I liked that particular ability where they could be unaffected by spells, and plus it lets me level manipulate where I can just get exactly the level I need when I need it because I have 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Then I play 3 copies of Darkness of the Zing. You need 3 copies of the Darkness of the Zing because it's the tuner of the deck, and when it's destroyed by battle or by card effect and sent to your grave, you can special summon a Zing monster in your deck in attack position, but it also has the effect of, if you control no other monsters, you can send 2 Zing cards from your hand to the grave to special summon one Zing monster with 0 attack and one Zing monster with 0 defense from your deck. And all of them either have 0 attack or 0 defense. So it's really easy to make all sorts of different plays with this. Like you can level manipulate, like I said, and special summon something like, you can special summon Palua, and then special have this on the field, and then special summon out Zavraxi, this one, onto the field, and then you can synchro those 2 together and make a level 8. The level 6 one, this one, the Zephyra one, and this to make a level 8. And then when this card is destroyed by card effect while in the main monster zone, you could actually pop it with Diagram, get a search off, and all sorts of different plays. Like this deck has so many different plays, it's nuts. But basically that gives you the synchro fodder that you need onto the field. So the next one I play is 2 copies of Chow Win. You only need 2 copies of Chow Win in my opinion. I think that it's a good 2 of, but when it's destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon a Zing monster in your deck. It doesn't specify attack or defense, so you just special summon it in the position that you want to special summon it in, which is really awesome. And it's a level 1 tuner, and then it also has the effect of when this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, and if you do, banish it when a Zing monster is destroyed by battle. Or by card effect. So it floats with your floaters, which is nice. And then it also has the effect of that you have to banish it when it leaves the field if you use that effect, which is not that big of a deal. Then we play 2 copies of Zephyr Nui. I think he has probably one of the derpiest faces in the entire history of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think they really did a good job on his card artwork. I absolutely love it. It's really funny. But its effect is that the monster effect's the one that we use. We don't Pendulum Summon in this deck at all. I just use 2 copies of him for his search ability, that when he's in Pendulum Summon, or when this card is destroyed by a card effect, while you in the main monster zone, you can add 1 Yangzing or Zephyra spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, which is why I play the 3 Pillars and the 1 Divine Strike, because it searches any of those that I want to do what I need to do. So that's it for the Yangzings. I'm going to slide these to the side and show you guys the True Kings that we play. So yeah. So the Yangzings pretty much just all float. That's if you take one thing away from this deck profile, all the Yangzings float, and they're used for synchro material. So let me play the copies that we need of our True Kings, which is the True King Draco Phoenix, the True King Amadeus the Vanisher, and True King the Water True King. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. But you play these 3 because Lithogast is actually banned. So he's banned at the time of this deck profile. So you play these just as level 9 summons. And basically you get to destroy 2 cards. They all share the ability that if this card is in your hand, you can destroy 2 other cards in your hand or face up on your field, including at least a particular attribute. Like this one has to destroy water, this one has to destroy fire, this one has to destroy wind. And then you banish... then you get to special summon this card, which is the one... They're kind of like Dragon Rulers in a way, but worms. Like Dragon Rulers banished, but these destroy. But the really cool thing about them is that each one of them has a particular added effect. Like this one gets to banish 2 spell and trap cards your opponent's field and or grave. This one lets you banish 1 monster your opponent controls, and this one lets you special summon this card from your hand if you do both players' monsters. Where wind, you can banish exactly 4 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. So like all of them have really cool added effects on top of that, but we use them basically to summon True King of all calamities. Like that's the big play that we use with all these True Kings. So that's it for the True Kings. Let's get into the spells. And that's it for all the monsters too. So we're going to be playing 2 copies of Terraforming to search out our Draconic Diagram. You need Draconic Diagram in this deck to use to pop our stuff. Like Diagram I use all the time. Like all the time. I'm so glad that they didn't hit this and they hit some other cards in the deck, because it just would have like hurt a lot of other decks. Because like Dinosaurs benefited off this benefits off of this, and a lot of other decks benefit off of Draconic Diagram. Like all basically the big effect that we use is that once per turn you can destroy 1 other card you control or in your hand, and if you do, you get to add a True King and or True Draco monster from your deck to your hand. That's the big effect that we use. We pop one of our Yangzings in our hand, special summon off the Yangzing, and then add a True King from our deck to our hand. So it just adds pluses off of like nothing. Then we play 2 copies of Yangzing Path. Yangzing Path basically says shuffle 3 Yangzing monsters from your graveyard into your deck, and then if you do, draw 2 cards. Basically Pot of Avarice and a spell card. Then we play 3 copies of our Call by the Grave. Unique 3 Call by the Graves, because Call by the Grave is really, really, really good. And you need to not let your opponent Ash Blossom you. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 1 copy of True King's Return. This is at 1 right now, I believe. So we just played 1 copy of it. If this card is sent from the spell and trap card zone to the grave, you can target a card on the field. Target a monster on the field and destroy it, but it has the effect of that you can target a True Draco or True King monster in your grave and special summon it. That's the big thing that we do normally. Or during your opponent's turn, you can immediately have this card resolves, tribute summon a True King or True Draco monster face up. That's face up. So it's really good to be able to just revive them and be able to go for more plays. Then we play our negations, which is Zephyra Divine Strike. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, banish 1 face-up Zephyr monster from your extra deck, negate the activation if you do destroy it. This is used with Zephyr Nui, the Yangzing Zephyr monster. We just use this to kind of add extra negation. And then I play 3 copies of 9 Pillar. I really wish Delong would come back to 1 or 2. I don't feel like it was busted. I feel like it was busted, but not ban worthy. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, you can... while you control Yangzing monster, negate the activation if you do, shuffle that card into the deck, then destroy 1 other Yangzing monster you control, or 1 other Yangzing card you control. So it's really good to be able to just, them to pop something. or to try and you do something and then you flip this, pop a Yang Zing, float into another Yang Zing that you need, and then go from there. So you stopped your opponent from doing things. So anyways, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So the extra deck really excels this deck and really shows off what it can do. So we're going to be playing 2 copies of True King of All Calamities. True King of All Calamities basically is skill drain for a particular attribute. It's really good to play as a 2 of. I probably wouldn't play it as a 3 of because you never really summon 3. 1 copy of Chao Fang. This card can end duels on its own because it has the effect of when this card is synchro summoned on your field, your opponent can activate cards or effects with the same original type as Yang Zing monsters used for the synchro summon of this card. So like if your opponent's playing like for instance, you're always going to use a light or a dark to summon this. But if you know your opponent's playing like, for instance, Burning Abyss. Let's just use Burning Abyss for example. And you put in Jowgen, the dark tuner monster. They can't activate any of their Burning Abyss effects because it's all dark. So that's the big thing about this card that's really, really amazing. I really love this card and it's a really good card. Then we play 1 copy of Trishula because it's really, really easy to make in this deck. And plus you can use it to overlay into True King of All Calamities. Extremely easy. 2 copies of Baxia. Baxia is really good. It shuffles. You can target cards on the field up to the number of different attributes used of worm-type monsters used for this card synchro summon and shuffle them into the deck, which is just really, really good. I wish it didn't target, but it does, which kind of sucks. 1 Beals, because we can make it really easy in this deck, and it's really good in this deck. Being able to just, like, make it unaffected by spells or unaffected by traps, and it can be targeted, and it can be destroyed by battle. You make this against Thunder Dragons, and they can't deal with it. They just cannot deal with this card. 4-load Savage Dragon just for extra negates. I make it sometimes in this deck. It's not really... I don't make it all the time in this deck unless I have a Link monster in grave, of course. But Cyframe Lord Omega, it's here just to kind of put stuff that I banished back. Yazi is here because it's a good Yang Zing and you can pop stuff with it and get extra plays. Black Rose Dragon to nuke board. Herald of the Arclight is here because you can get extra negates. It can't be destroyed by battle, which is cool. But it's just really, really good. Like, you can make it where it can't be destroyed by battle, which is nice, just by going like Chao Fang plus Beyond, and it makes it where it can't be, destroyed, so it gives you an extra negate, because when you need to send it to the grave, you do. Yugioh, because it's extremely easy to make. Summon Sorceress, because they're all worm monsters, so it's really easily made in the deck. And then 1 copy of Lan, the Link monster, because you need it, because if you don't play it, you don't have a lot of Link arrows, and making like True King and a Synchro monster is nice, and that's why I play it. So anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this deck profile down in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the bell so you can become part of the notification squad. It should be right there so you guys can see all of my Yu-Gi-Oh content. This deck is really, really fun, and I really hope you guys give it a try, but I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.